Have you ever really stopped to think about what's happening inside your brain when you listen to music? Well, today we're going to dive into the surprising science of how one instrument in particular, the piano, can literally change our minds for the better, boosting everything from memory to how we handle our emotions. Let's get right into it. So, let's just start with a big question. What if there was a single activity that could basically act as a total upgrade for your mind? I know, it sounds a little like science fiction, right? But the research we're about to look at shows that learning an instrument, especially the piano, gets incredibly close to that. All right, first up, let's talk about what actually happens inside your head when you sit down at a piano. Because it's so much more than just making pleasant sounds. It's a full-on neurological symphony. And that brings us to the number 8. Why 8? Because playing the piano isn't some small, localized task for your brain. It simultaneously lights up at least 8 different areas across both hemispheres. We're talking about one of the most complete workouts you can possibly give your mind. And the results of that workout? They are absolutely profound. We're not just talking one or two little benefits here. Learning the piano is shown to improve your memory/anxiety, build incredible fine motor skills, and foster real discipline. It literally forges new pathways in your brain, making it stronger and way more resilient. And look, you don't just have to take my word for it. The renowned neuroscientist Robert Zatorri put it perfectly. There is no other activity that activates the brain more than music. The main takeaway here is this. When it comes to brain health, music is in a league of its own. But beyond all the general brain-boosting stuff, music can be something so much deeper. For some people, especially kids facing unique challenges, it becomes this incredibly powerful tool for growth. I love this quote. It's like an infinite ladder for them to face and overcome their biggest obstacles. And this is where the science gets really, really exciting. Because for people with ADHD and autism, music isn't just a hobby. It can be a truly transformative tool that directly targets their specific challenges. What's amazing is how targeted these benefits are. For a kid with ADHD, the built-in structure of music helps dial down impulsivity and seriously ramp up concentration. And then for someone on the autism spectrum, the predictable, repeating patterns in a song can provide this comforting sensory structure, which actually makes it easier to communicate and share attention with others. So, you might be asking, why the piano? What's so special about it? Well, a couple of things. First, its sound. That really pleasant, warm, mid to low range is often incredibly soothing for people with sensory sensitivities. Plus, you can have two people sitting side by side playing together. That turns it into this amazing shared experience, helping to break down barriers without ever needing to say a word. Okay, so we've established the benefits are massive, right? But let's be honest, traditional music lessons can be a really big hurdle for a lot of people. So how do we make this powerful tool accessible to everyone? Well, this is where some really innovative new methods are changing the game. I want you to meet Piano Tea. It's this brilliant visual method that's designed to completely sidestep the complexity of traditional sheet music. So instead of all those abstract symbols on a page, it uses a system that pretty much anyone can understand, like right away. Check out how simple this is. The keys get numbers 1 through 7, super easy. Your fingers get assigned colors, and get this, the melodies are even linked to simple pictograms to help connect the music directly to communication and ideas. It's a full multisensory approach that makes learning feel natural and, actually fun. Look, the difference here is it's night and day. Think about it. Traditional methods demand so much of your brain power just to decode the symbols. Piano Thea just gets rid of that barrier. It frees up a person's attention so they can focus on the physical part of playing and, most importantly, on the actual joy of making music. So, with all these incredible benefits and these cool new ways to learn, you'd think music would be a cornerstone of education and therapy everywhere, right? Well, there's actually a pretty surprising gap between what we know music can do and how we actually use it in the real world. And here's the big problem. On the one hand, pretty much everyone, teachers, therapists, parents, recognizes the benefits of music therapy, but when you go looking for large-scale published scientific studies to back it up, especially for conditions like ADHD, there's a huge gap. We desperately need more hard data to make what so many people see every day official. And that lack of research, it leads to all these real-world problems. Music often gets treated like an optional extra in schools. At home, any musical activity is usually unstructured. Parents and teachers, they know it's important, but they often just don't have the training or the resources to really make it effective. And this isn't just about therapy for specific conditions. It's so important to remember that for all kids, early exposure to music is one of the single best tools we have for building foundational language skills, everything from recognizing sounds to learning vocabulary. Which really brings us back to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? The evidence is overwhelming. We know for a fact that music builds better, stronger, more connected brains. It helps us learn, it helps us communicate, it helps us regulate our emotions. So the real question is, why isn't it treated as a fundamental, non-negotiable part of every single child's development? That's something to think about.